Hi guys, very good morning. Welcome back on Cloud Saviors. So in this video, we are going to discuss about AZ104, that is my Azure Administrator Associate. Okay. So once you pass out AZ900, then you have to go for AZ104. That is the, I would say, a second layer of certification, kind of a middle level certification that we have in the form of AZ104. So let's discuss about the curriculum and how you can certify this certification. Okay, so don't worry if you are new here, if you are new on Azure, we will cover each and everything. Okay, so that is the official documentation that I'm using, provided by Microsoft. So certification details, as we can see, first of all, virtual network, storage, compute, identity, security, and governance. Okay, so virtual network. Okay, so in virtual network, we should know about the exact meaning of virtual network, subnets. Okay, how you can just divide the network, how you can just work into a virtual network, the creation of VNets, the creation of subnets. Okay, storage, compute, identity, security, and governance. Storage again is I would say a big topic to discuss, because in storage is not alone. We have multiple services in storage. For example, blob storage, file storage, table storage, right? So you should know the types of storage and like what is the exact use of this storage. I mean, if they give you any kind of scenario, you should know which kind of storage I have to use in this particular scenario. Compute, identity, security, and governance. Okay, so we will discuss them one by one. Let me just go down first. You should be familiar with operating system, networking, servers, and virtualization. So it's not like that you should know each and everything about OS. Okay, a basic understanding of operating system, that is more than enough. Networking, again, basic understanding of networking, servers, and virtualization. This one, I mean, the last option is virtualization, but I don't think you would need this virtualization, because only a basic like type 1 and type 2 virtualization, type 1, type 2 hypervisor, that is more than enough. Okay, so in addition, you should have experience with PowerShell, Azure CLI, Azure Portal, ARM templates, Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, that is also like I would say no need to have this kind of experience. Only the basic, if you are working on Azure for not 2 or 3 years, right, that is enough. Okay. PowerShell, I think you should know how to connect PowerShell with Azure subscription. Same goes with the Azure CLI. Azure Portal, like you should know the creation of resources. Okay, the basic operations. ARM templates, again, a very basics. I would say knowledge is enough. Microsoft Entra ID, again, a new feature of Azure. So I think that is not required as much as you need the experience on Azure Portal. I mean the third one. Okay, so focus here. Just you can just ignore the first, second, and fourth and fifth. This one is more than enough to pass out your certification. Okay, so if you pass out this certification, then you will get the badge of Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate. Now let me get into the exact curriculum, the real syllabus of this certification. That is the manage Azure Identity and Governance. That is the first module that we are going to discuss. Second, implement and manage storage. That is the second one. Third one, deploy and manage Azure compute resources. Implement and manage virtual network. Monitor and maintain Azure resources. Okay, perfect. So let me start with the module number 1. Then we will discuss them one by one. First of all, we have is like Azure Portal, Cloud Shell, PowerShell. It's a kind of an introduction. What is the exact meaning of Cloud Shell? Okay, what is the exact meaning of Portal and PowerShell? So Cloud Shell is nothing. It is just a CLI of your Azure Portal. So if you want to know about Cloud Shell, you can just refer my video, that is Azure Portal introduction, where I explain about Cloud Shell and how you can use it. Okay, so second one, we have use Azure Resource Manager. Third one, configure resource with Azure Resource Manager template. It is my ARM templates. So ARM template is nothing. It is just a JSON file where you are going to deploy resources by using these scripts. Okay. Again, we have PowerShell, we have CLI. Okay. So it's up to you how you want to interact with the Azure. Okay. We have 4 to 5 ways to interact with the Azure, which you can use. Okay. So take it like a basics one. let me just go back and let me get into the exact resources. So now that is my actual first one. I mean the actual syllabus. The first one we have Microsoft's Entra ID, where you should know about the exact benefits and features of Entra ID, the concept, and how you can use it, how you can use it in any kind of scenarios. So remember this thing, they will not ask you the direct question. They will give you kind of a scenario that yes, we have this scenario and now you have to give the solution, you have to give the answer. You should know which resource needs to use. Okay, so user and group accounts, that is something you should know, how to add users in Azure AD, how to create bulk accounts, how to create groups. So simple Azure AD operations you should know. Configure subscription, that is again you should know. Configure subscription, configure cost management, configure resource tagging, configure management groups, configure Azure policy. These things you should know before going for Azure 104. Again, Azure policy, I already mentioned, you should know how to use Azure policy, how to apply Azure policy on RG level, on subscription level, on management group level, or on a resource level as well. Okay, role-based access control, or you can say RBAC policies. It's like giving a user to a proper permissions. Okay, so give the permission which you have to give. Like for example, if a user is working on VM, then this user must be able to access only VM, nothing else. Okay, so how to use this RBAC? What are the roles we have in RBAC? For example, we have owner, we have contributor, we have reader, right? We have admin access user. So these kind of users, these kind of roles you should know, and you should know how to assign these roles to a particular user as well. Okay, same thing, create Azure users and groups in Microsoft's Entra ID, that you should know. Role-based access control, that is we discussed already. The last one, we have allow users to reset their password with Microsoft Entra self-service password reset. Again, it is a service provided by Microsoft Active Directory. So make sure you know these things, and of course do not forget to do any kind of hands-on, because Azure 104 is all about hands-on. Do it little bit, like you are not supposed to be an expert, okay, but yeah, do a proper hands-on, that you should know how things is working. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, so we have done this one, third one we have to. Okay, so now we have configure storage account. As I already mentioned, storage account is a big topic, I would say. So you should know like what kind of storage we have, how to replicate my data into any another availability zone, into any another geography, okay, into any another region as well. The replication and these things you should know. Configure as your blob storage, as your storage security. Okay, then we have as your file sync. Then we have Azure storage with tools. Okay, so you should know the types of Azure storage. Once you know the types, then you should go with the scenario based questions. Okay, for example, in which scenario you have to use which kind of storage. Okay, so let's say if they're asking you that a user needs to upload any data that is included mp3 files, mp4 files. Okay, so what kind of storage you will use? So the answer would be blob storage. Okay, where you can put as many files as you can, irrespective of their extensions. Okay, so these things you should know. And now we have Azure storage with shared access signature. That's a secured one. It is coming under the security option. Okay, so it is not just limited to deployment. You should know the security as well, how you are going to protect your data, how you are going to protect your Azure resources. Okay, Azure Storage Explorer, that is a kind of a software that you can download on your laptop, and you can just interact with the Azure by using this particular application. Okay, so make sure you download it and just download some data just to explore your of course knowledge and everything. So perform some hands-on on storage accounts, upload some data, share it with your friend, provide some security, create some SaaS tokens. Okay, create shared access link. Okay, so these kind of small tasks you can do with your friends. Okay, that is the second thing. Now let me just go to the I think the third one. Manage your computer resources. That is my virtual machine. We all know about virtual machine. The only point that you have to do it exact hands-on. Do not go without doing the hands-on. You know about virtual machine, that is very good, but just go to Azure portal and try to create one virtual machine. First create a normal virtual machine, then go with the scaling options, go with the auto scaling, go with the any kind of alerts on that, go with the backup policy. So these kind of hands-on you can do, like availability set you can create. What is the exact meaning of update domain, fault domain? That is something you should know. Okay, so as we can see, auto scaling is here, that you should know. Scale set you should know how to do it. As your app service plan, again that is a platform as a service that you can just use. You should know how to host it, how to deploy it. Okay, now we have configured Azure app services again. So if you have any kind of application that you want to host it, you can use app services. We have multiple plans here. First of all, see, we have two things. One is app services plan. Okay, second is app service itself. So you should know the different. You should know what is the exact meaning of deployment slots and how many slots you have in one single app service plan. So let me tell you, it depends what kind of plan you are taking. If you're taking isolate one, if you're taking standard one, if you're taking basics one. So you should know the difference between these plans. Okay, so container instance or ACI, that is the I would say Docker file that we have to host. Okay, so one single or very basic practical you can do on this by using this ACI. Okay, any example application you can take from internet and just host it on ACI. So you will get to know how ACI is working and what is the exact difference between ACI and AKS. Okay, so you should know the difference between ACI and AKS cluster and what kind of application you can use on ACI. Azure virtual machine with the Azure CLI, it means how you can deploy a virtual machine by using Azure CLI, by using PowerShell, by using ARM templates. Okay, so try to deploy any virtual machine by using ACI, by using not ACI, by using the CLI, or maybe by using ARM templates. Okay, then we have create window virtual machine in Azure. That is something very basic that you will do. So virtual machine creation that you have to perform. Okay, once you perform this kind of a small practical, then you will get to know a lot of things. Okay, now we have web application with Azure app services. So you have to host it, as I already mentioned, just for your knowledge. Okay, so you will get to know how app services is working, how deployment is working. Okay, that is the one thing. Let me go back and that is our last one, our last module to cover. So in this module you should know about virtual networks. Okay, so as I already mentioned, you should know about the virtual network, subnets, virtual network IP address range. Okay, so these things you have to design exact like your on-prem offices. You should design the complete virtual network, and inside the virtual network how many subnets you have to give. That is something you have to design. You have to plan your IP address as well. Okay, so IP addressing, networking, everything will fall under this module. Now we have the security that you are going to use upon your subnets, that in my network security groups. Okay, so you can call it NSG as well. In NSG, it's a kind of a gatekeeper that will secure your network on your virtual machine level and on your subnet level. So on 2 points you can use NSG. One is on virtual machine level, second is on your subnet level. Okay, now Azure DNS, we all know about how DNS works. So Azure is having their own DNS. So how to use it, how to create, how to add any kind of entry, how to delete any kind of entry, that you should know. Okay, configure Azure virtual network peering. So let's say we have two virtual networks. So these are the two separate network. Okay, so by default they will not talk to each other, but if you know how to make a peering between these two networks, then yes, you can start communication between these two network as well. Okay, so we have different option to peer these kind of networks. So that is something you should know. Then we have routing and endpoints. Routing is the biggest part in networking. So you should know how to route my traffic by using Azure Route, how to give the custom route as well. Now the load balancer, as we all know, without LB we cannot host any kind of application. That is something you should know. So internal LB, external LB, that's something you should know how to configure it and how to create LBs. Okay. Now we have application gateway. So let's say if you are using any kind of application, that this gateway you have to host in front of application. Okay. The implementation of application gateway and creation you should know. Design addressing IP addressing schema for your Azure deployment, and then we have virtual network and integrate them by using virtual network peering. That is again kind of if you want to do it you can do it, but that is not going to come in exam as per my understanding. Host your domain on Azure DNS. A very basic practical is enough for the DNS part. Manage and control traffic flow in your Azure deployment with routes. Okay, routes like you should know where you have to route your traffic. Let's say if you are using Azure firewall, so you have to create one single subnet just to host this firewall. So you have to route your traffic as per your understanding. I mean the custom routing policies you have to use. Okay. So scalability and resiliency by using Azure load balancer, how you can increase it, how you can make your application efficient and effective, of course. So that is something you should know before going for Azure 104. Okay. So don't take it like that is going to be very hard. Of course, if you know about Microsoft Azure properly, like the services what I have mentioned, the most major services, then you will be able to pass it. And if you have any kind of experience like a 2 or 3 years working experience on Azure, then it's going to be easy for you. So don't worry about that thing. Okay. So any other topic that you want me to cover, please put into the comment section, and you can also message me on LinkedIn as well. Okay. Before going, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and of course like the video. If you share it, definitely people who want to see this kind of video, they will see it. Okay. So that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.